Hello, warriors. Welcome back to the Tang Sudo Resource Podcast. Today we got a great podcast. I have Master Daniel Bannard, my first instructor, the man that put me on this path. We're going to jump right in a second. I just want to go over a little housekeeping. We've got in April, Dominic Giacobi's tournament coming up. So please check out. I'm going to put the link in below. And we have in May, Master Charles Ferraro's tournament coming up. So please make sure you support those two gentlemen. And with that, I'm going to bring Master Bannard on, and today he's going to talk about the five elements and how as Tang Soo practitioners that can get us to a healthier state using the five elements. So with that, I'm going to bring him on right now. Hello, sir.
Hello, how is everybody?
All right, cool.
Glad
Okay,
to be here.
good. All right, so let's give everybody a little background first. How about you go through just basic history, and I'm going to let me see here where we go. How about you introduce yourself, tell everybody how you got started, and we could take it from there.
Sure. Hi, my name is Dr. Daniel Bannard. I've been in the Kwan for over 55 years, or just 55 years this year. And I started back in 1971, September 1st, 1971, at the Five Towns Karate Center. At that point, as I reached my goal of Dan member, shortly after that, I got the second Dan, and I met Dan Segura at age 11. And we started training together. And with that said, we are growing old as good friends and talking to each other every day. And we're still very close to each other and involved in bettering other lives as well as ourselves and being healthier. I'm also a chiropractor, retired now of over 40 years. And with that, I practiced holistic medicine, chiropractic, functional medicine. I'm not holistic medicine, functional medicine, and being an acupuncturist practicing as well. So with that, we have a good insight on how the energy moves within the body. And I'd like to show you some ways that you can live within the natural laws of nature. And as the Kwan Nim Huang Ki Chang Shija had mentioned in the book called the Mudo Chahuk, he literally talks about the five elements and the eight directions in context to the Shimsamse. So the five elements aren't talked about that much. And with the background of acupuncture being that Chinese medicine is over 2,000 years old, and modern medicine is only about 200 years old, they had a lot longer time to observe nature and how we work within the laws of nature. And of course, being a martial artist, you want to defeat inner and outer conflict through the process of your Mudo practitioner. And with that, we want to kind of look at how we can keep ourselves healthier, because you can't achieve good happiness if you're not healthy. And so following the laws of nature will give you that opportunity to move with nature, and will work with your body. And as it works with your body, it'll cause less resistance against those natural laws. To break that down easier is just following these natural laws that happen within the elements. And we're going to describe those to you and how they work, and show you that they are attached to seasons. And each element being attached to a specific season, it's governed that season, what foods to eat, what foods to avoid, and how you can keep yourself in maximum optimal health. So the definition of health, people will look at that. And when we ask people, what's the definition of health? They'll say, well, when you feel better, when you're doing this, or a lack of symptoms. But actually, Dorland's Medical Dictionary defines health as an optimal state of physical, mental, and social well-being, and not merely the absence of disease or infirmity. So your goal is, it doesn't mean you won't get sick, but it means that your body has to be in an optimal state in order for you to remain at the top of your game, healthy. And with that, following the laws that follow the five elements, and we'll show you those in a minute, will offer you the opportunity to have more complete knowledge of how to transition throughout the seasons very easily by following those natural laws. So that's one of the things. So that picture that you just see up there where you see fire at the top, these are the 5 elements, and I'm going to associate those literally to the seasons. So the fire element is associated and connected to the summer. And the summer is very yang, it's very quick, it's moving fast, it's all like that heat access. Could leave that up if you don't mind. Leave the picture up. It'll be worth it for us to see. And as we move to the next is earth. So as the season is changing from summer to late summer, the earth element kicks in. Now, in the summer element at the top, the organs that work with that element mostly will be the small intestines and the heart. And there are things that are attached to all of these elements, and we'll talk about just the one that we're in today so that we have that time. But as we move to the right, you're going to see earth. That's late summer. So as we transition into late summer, the stomach and the spleen are at charge there. And that's where you'll see colds and immune responses if you're out of balance. As we move into metal, as we go one lower, that's going to be moving into the fall. At that point, the leaves of the trees are beginning to, and the earth energy is beginning to retract and move itself down into itself. So therefore, the energy of the summer is pushing everything up, and the energy of the metal and winter is moving the energy back down. So there's always an ebb and flow of energy on the planet. And if you don't ride that wave with the elements as they go through, you're working against them, you're more likely to get sick and not be at optimal states. The metal element is in charge of the lungs and the large intestines. And it has its own rules to follow in that season of the fall. And now as we move into the winter, that's the water element. The bladder and the kidney are in charge. And they have their own rules and regulations to follow as well. The reason I'm moving quick through these is because I want to talk about the next one where we are now. We're just entering into springtime. And as you notice, the color of that element is green. And if you notice outside, well, the grass is turning green, the trees are beginning to come out. It's a time of birth and regrowth. It's a time where the energy is pushing back out of the earth, getting it ready and filtering all the toxins that had built up from the winter, slower element, into the faster fire element of the summer. So in between the winter, which held everything in, and the summer, which is going to be moving everything quickly, and you need to be good detox in order for your body to work healthy in the summertime, the wood element has most of that job of detoxing all these chemicals that go in from the air we breathe, the water we drink, and the food we eat. So with that said, the wood element is in charge of 2 organs, the gallbladder and the liver. And today I want to talk a little bit about how those elements basically affect us, especially the wood element, and what foods to eat, what foods to avoid, and a couple of other good informations. At the end of this talk, I'll give you some tapping and I'll show you how to stimulate your chi flow in your body so that you can always maintain a good optimal health. I'm just going to open up another slide presentation I have here to get some better information for us. So you can click that off, Dan, for a second. Thanks. If you look at this chart, it's very similar to the one that you just saw, except it's kind of like in the direction it should be. If I place it up against my chest, because everything flips on this screen, my raised hand to you may look like my left hand is up, but it's literally my right hand. Okay. So my right hand is up right now. And if you put this chart close to your body, you're going to see the green is also on the right. And with that, your organs of your liver and gallbladder are literally in your chest on the right side. And the fire and the heart are up at the top. The spleen and stomach are on your left side. This may look like your right side, but literally it's my left side. The screen is just flipped. And then we have the metal, the lungs and large intestines lower. And then we have the bladder and kidney expressed by the blue at the bottom. So this chart has many, many functions to an acupuncturist, but to keep it simple for today, we're just assigning the seasons that go to each of these elements and how to follow the laws within that season in order for you to stay at optimal health. An acupuncturist uses this chart in many other ways. By doing pulse diagnosis, we split this chart in half. The right side, by touching the pulses, gives us an opportunity to read those energy fields, and the left side to read those energy fields. And then the acupuncturist would know where to put the needles according to move energy from one point to another in your body. But for today, we're just going to associate the seasons, again, to the elements. So we have fire at the top, that's summer. And then we had on the left side, moving that way, is going to be the stomach and spleen. That comes next in late summer. And then we move into the fall, which is the metal element. And that is going to be lungs and large intestines. And again, bladder and kidney for the winter element. As we move back toward the springtime, where we are just entering now, this is the element of where we are. Again, that is the liver and the gallbladder. And it represents many, many things. So let me go ahead and give you a couple of ideas of what that does. We couldn't share screen properly today, but we'll get that right on another presentation. Perhaps I can give you all of that background a little bit easier and a lot more better to roll with. But just to understand that, let's go ahead and give you a couple of ideas of what we can do with that. Let me just open this up for us. There we go. Okay. It's a shame I can't get the share screen going.
Yeah, I popped up a new chart for you.
Okay, yeah, no, that's good. So the wood element represents the liver and gallbladder. So the liver and gallbladder, by the way, you have many, many functions that does. Your liver performs over 500 functions. The filters out toxins for detoxification. It removes like alcohol and drugs. It increases your metabolism. It processes nutrients, carbs, proteins, and fats. Bile production in your gallbladder is for fat digestion. It's also produced by the liver. Storage is vitamin A, D, vitamin E, and vitamin K. All the minerals and glycogens are all supported by the liver. It has a lot of functions. Your whole immune support is also there. It clears bacteria out of your body, blood regulation. It assists with clotting and removes old red blood cells. And the gallbladder is a storage, and it concentrates bile from the liver. It releases bile to the small intestines to digest fats. So it is literally a big working machine to detox you. And with that said, we live in a toxic world, unfortunately. So bad food, bad air, bad water, all of those things will sooner or later make you sick. But they found one food, if you eat it once, it can make you miserable for the rest of your life. You know what that is? A wedding cake. Just a joke. Anyway, it's unfortunate but true. We got a lot of chemicals in the air we breathe and the food we eat. Pesticides, chemicals, preservatives, shampoos are bad. Soft drinks are loaded with sugar. They're harmful. So cancer is a $1 trillion industry. And as they get rich, we suffer because they don't teach us these factors of what to eat, how to eat, what to do in the seasons that relate to the organs so that we can live a longer life. They'd rather us eat anything we want as long as they make money. And with that said, we wonder why we get sick. So it's another form of inner conflict. And as a martial artist, you want to really start to pay attention to the frequency of the foods you're eating and what jobs that they do inside. Are they making you healthier or are they making you sicker? Okay, so with that said, the gallbladder meridian itself, again, I can't show you the slides, but I will explain it to you the best I can. The gallbladder and liver meridian. Now, when we say meridians, you have 12 of these, and there are 6 on each side of your body, and you have 1 in the center, and you have 1 in the back. It's one long line of energy. Think about it as a water hose. It's one water hose that goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, it goes up, it goes down, and it ends. But it's a continual cycle, so it doesn't end. It just keeps looping. With that said, whatever those lines pass through are the organs that they control. So the liver and the gallbladder are 2 organs that on the right side of your body, but the organs are there. But on the meridians, they're bilateral. So you'll have that meaning you'll have liver on one side and the liver meridian on the other side because they're on both sides of your body. Now, the liver meridian starts down at your toes. I don't think you can see me from here. Let me just change the angle. Again, I apologize for that. Here, let me show you the other computer. I don't know if that'll work. Maybe that'll be a better picture. So we're going to reverse this. So Dan, you can get rid of that picture.
Right.
And then I just want to see, that's not working. Okay.
I'm working
That's
on
okay.
I'm
Liver
working,
and gallbladder meridian?
yeah, I'm working on getting that up for you.
Okay. That's
Great.
fine.
Amen.
But in the meantime, while he's getting that up, let's talk about the liver and gallbladder really quick. All right, there you go. So there's your gallbladder meridian. Thanks. That's actually almost the same picture I use. Shrink it down a little bit more like you had it before. Thank you. All right, so now liver and gallbladder. So you see the gallbladder starts at the top. That's number 1 to 3. And then works its way all the way down to the little toe. And it goes along the side of the body. So when the gallbladder is having trouble, you'll usually feel dizziness, lightheadedness, because that affects the top part. You may feel pain along the side of your body, and you may also have a lot of gas, flatulence, and problems in digestion. But those are pretty much what the gallbladder does. Now, if you can get the liver, that'll be good too. In the meantime, there are also emotions. I know it's a lot of information, but there are emotions that are tied to each of these seasons and each of these meridians and each of these elements. So the element of wood, which is where we are, the emotion that would make that element get worse for you would be anger. So anger is the real problem to the gallbladder and the liver. It has a direct effect on the liver and the gallbladder. And statistically, there'll be more gallbladder operations around this time of the year, because if a gallbladder is already going a little bad, will get worse if you're still an angry person. It constricts there's the liver. It constricts the way that the flow goes, and it breaks up the way that the liver actually works. So anger will always affect the liver and gallbladder as well as other things. So you got to control that. And as martial artists, we want to learn how to become more peaceful. And the way to do that is through the breath and your good training. So when you're breathing properly from the belly and you're taking good inhales, and now you bring yourself to the present moment, and then you can start to meditate on things of peace inside, and releasing physical suffering, releasing mental suffering, things of that nature, however you do it. But with that said, you want to bring yourself to more controlling the anger. The other thing I did want to say is that if there's a reason to be angry, it's okay to get angry. It's when you hold the anger for longer than that instant happened, that's where the damage takes place. So if you see a horror movie, you should get frightened, but then it goes back to not being frightened, and you go home and everything goes back to normal. But if that heightened response of fear, heightened in anger, and everything stays with you, then that's where the damage will take place. So it's not about not experiencing anger. It's about managing it and not carrying that anger beyond the points that it needs to be. And if a person's walking around constantly blaming, pointing, and angry at everything, you will be surprised that they don't show up with a gallbladder issue. All right. So that's the emotion that ties in with it. You saw the 2 meridians. And the point is that they are in the legs mainly. The liver stops under the rib cage, but the gallbladder went all the way to the side of the head. However, let's just talk about how the energy works from the earth up into the body. The way the earth works and the way you work with the body is that energy comes from your feet, from the earth, and it goes up into your body to keep everything in good energy field. And when you're in a good grounded energy field, you're literally leaving the electrical charges in the cells of your body very strong, and your body works at its optimal effect. Just like if a battery starts to drain, it's not the machine, it's the battery inside that's losing power for the machine to work properly. So by charging yourself up all of the time with grounding, and we'll talk quickly about that, is really important to do. But the point I was trying to make is that the roots of a tree have to carry the nutrients up inside of itself so that it expands out to the leaves and the whole thing stays healthy. So the first thing to go in a human, you may feel leg weakness. As you get older in your training, it's important to keep your legs strong and to practice good stretching and good exercises that will allow that part of your health to increase. So stretching is a very good thing. Tapping the meridians in your legs are also, and on all of your body actually, is going to be a very good way to unblock a lot of these chi flow that get blocked up in your body. So what I want to read to you really quick before we get into that is just some things about the wood element. So again, the wood element is springtime. The organs are involved again are the liver and the gallbladder. The emotion we said was anger. The color is green. And the function of the wood element governs growth, flexibility, good planning, decision making. So if you're having problems making decisions in life, that may also be a gallbladder issue. But when you're out of balance, things that the gallbladder will let you know will be like dizziness, lightheadedness, headaches on the side of your head, even eye vision issues. So your liver is in charge of your eyes. The clearer your eyes are and the better that you see are also indications of the liver. Pains on the side of the body. Now, the big thing about the liver and gallbladder, they also are, like every element we spoke about, also have physical body parts that they're in charge of. And it's well to know that in this season of the wood element, the tendons and the ligaments are what will be mostly attacked if you're out of balance. So you'll be more subject to tendon pulls, ligament problems at this time of the year. And by supplementing and eating properly, like I'm going to tell you a couple of things to do about that, you can actually give your body a much better chance at not injuring those areas. You could still get injured, but by eating properly within that season, you'll have less of an opportunity for your body to go sour and get hurt. So the other things is sour that came up. So if you're craving sour foods, that's also an indication of liver and gallbladder problems. Every season has a taste and a smell and a body sense it's in control of. We said the eyes, and sour is the taste with that. Anyway, so we basically got that. If you're tired and overly fatigued, irritable, or get angry easily, that's also an indication of an imbalance within the gallbladder energy and liver. So that pretty much covers those things. Let's move on a little bit and see how we can put this all together for you in the short time that we have, like a couple of minutes. My presentations that I usually give are over an hour long. I do a lot of them for the Federation. And again, I just love talking about this stuff because it's topics that not many people get to. The slide presentation would have been a lot clearer. However, you're still going to get a good understanding of stuff. Yep, can't show you that. Well, let's just talk about this. There you go. Let's talk about this for a second, too. Chang Shija, which is the founder of the Muda Kwan, Huang Qi. And he intended the Hang, these 5 elements, to be incorporated through holistic training. The 5 elements were not meant as separate lessons, but as interwoven qualities in every aspect of Subak Do, Tang Soo Do, in its forms, sparring, philosophy, and daily life. And also the balance of opposites, just as the Ohang cycles through the creation and control, wood feeds the fire. There you go. So if you look here, you'll see wood feeds the fire, and fire feeds the earth, earth feeds the metal, metal feeds the water. And that's the outer ring, and that's the natural flow of the seasons as well. We went summer, earth is late summer, metal is going to be fall, water is winter, and wood is now springtime. And then we get back to fire. But if you look at the central star, you're going to see that fire points downward toward metal. Now, fire melts metal, so it controls it. Metal chops wood, it controls it. Wood contains the earth, it controls it. Earth contains the water, it controls it, and water puts out fire. And you can see how that's the control cycle. So again, all of these laws and rules When you're in balance and all of these are flowing with good flow, your body has a less chance of getting sick. So the living philosophy that the Kwan Nim intended was that practitioners to see themselves as part of nature's rhythm, training not just the body, but aligning with these universal principles. So it's important to learn this stuff. As you get more advanced in your training, you want to now, you're doing well with that. Now you want to also see how your body can work within the natural laws of the universe and keep yourself in a much healthier state. I'm 71 now, I'll be 72. I'm still teaching a couple of nights a week, and I do a lot of all of this stuff. I'm continuing to do a lot of other support and things as well, and that's important. So just to give you that idea, age doesn't dictate what you do in life. Your mind does. Don't make your age your cage. Just be good, healthy, and experience life to the fullest. The living philosophy that he intended practitioners to see themselves as part of nature's rhythm. We said that. Integration with the Mudo values. The 5 elements are natural components to the 5 Mudo values of history, tradition, philosophy, discipline, respect, and technique. And it gives them external depth and natural imagery for teaching. So in short, the Ohang in Tang Soo Do and Subak Do are not just symbolic. They are practical guides for how to move, think, and live. And Huang Qi intended them to be a bridge between martial technique and natural order, so that every practitioner could embody harmony with nature while refining their Mudo spirit. Very important stuff. So we're moving toward the end of this talk because of time restraints. So there is more to do, but with this said, I'm going to move into some applicational techniques we can do together and show how the body basically will clear and somewhat we can work these through to give a good flow through our meridian system. So I'm going to stand up. We'll do that. I'll show you some things. First, before we get started, your hand cupping position, because we're going to just go through tapping and how that influences your meridian systems to work better. But if you use a cupping action of your hand, and when you make contact over your body, make that cupping sound. You have lots of energy centers in the palm of your hand, as well as information centers for the body. And your hand, because it has that electrical nature, has a lot more depth when you cup as far as sending signals in than if you use an instrument to tap. But you can use both. They still get you to the same place. The places you can reach with the cupping hand, go ahead and do that. The places you might need to extend, like the back, you might want to use a tool. I'll show you what those are real quick as well. So I hope you guys are enjoying this. I know I'm moving really fast, and we've cut this thing way down from an hour talk into just 20-minute, 25-minute talk. So I tried to give you some highlights, but let's go ahead and try that. So let me just lower this down. I got too much ceiling and not enough lower part. Okay, that might be better. Okay, good. So from this position, we're going to cup the hands and start cupping from your top of your chest and giving a nice slap down to the palms of your hands. Turn them over to the back with your hands facing up and go up. That's the way the meridian flows. The lung meridian flows down and the large intestine meridian flows up. So you're just going to tap vigorously. You're going to do that to the other side. And do that for a good 3 minutes. Tapping your chest, lower abdomen, hips. For all of us who do a lot of kicking, the hips get blocked with energy all the time. This will unblock them. So don't be afraid. You can actually side kind of wiggle a little bit and get your hips loosened up, but tapping those out as well, tapping the back. And then we're going to go down the legs. So you use one hand to go down the entire leg. Tap both sides. You got the gallbladder meridian on the side, and you have the liver meridian on the inside. So you want to tap both. And do both sides. These are warm-ups you should do before you train. So, and let me show you some other tapping tools. You can get these on Amazon. These are herbs that are infused inside this material at the top, which give you a nice tapping without hurting. And it gives you a nice, good way to really reach hard to get places. Or if you're watching TV, you don't want to make a lot of noise with the slapping. These are a little bit quieter. And you can get all the way down to your legs. We're not going to talk about specific acupuncture points on this session because we don't have time, but maybe in a future session, I can show you how to activate certain acupuncture points to also elicit a good, healthy response in your body. But don't be afraid to use these tapping devices. Both Master Segarra and myself both have a set of these. These were made by Master Montauk Chia. And these are long bamboo bristles. And they can also accomplish the same thing. They're just harder onto your body. So the soft, easier ways will be using the hammers. And if you go on to Amazon, you can get them. They're called body massage hammers. You get them for less than $20 for the pair. And then these are also on there, but these are harder for your body. You need to build up to really to use these. And they have other function as well, pressure points and things that they'll open up to. So that pretty much gives us a good rounded figure, at least how to do the tapping. On future talks, if I have another opportunity, I can share with you how to do some reverse Taoist breathing, how to open up some energy channels. We'll do some microcosmic orbit moving of energy in the body. And we can really work on this inner side of us. You're pretty all as your practitioners. I'm sure you do well with your external martial art training, but I'm not sure how much people are taught how to really keep the inside balanced. You can see a little chart behind me there. It's a chakra chart. So you have 7 other energy channels. That's a whole nother talk, and we'll explain how to work with those as well. I hope this information works well with you. If you're pregnant, I wouldn't recommend tapping all those points. You need to get advice from your physician first. If you have any serious conditions, that as well, certain medications and things that you might be taking, make sure you're cleared to do all of this work before you just go ahead out and start it. But if you're in decent shape, you have the opportunity to make the decision if you want to try it on your own and increase your health. So with that, I hope this presentation gave you some better insight. And I want to thank Master Segarra the opportunity for allowing me to talk today.
Fantastic. It's great. We had to scramble a little bit because we had a technical glitch with the slideshow. So I'm going to make sure that I have everything lined up on my end, so we can just jump over to that if we get the glitch again. But so let's recap a little bit on foods to avoid. What do you recommend foods to avoid for coming into the transition to spring?
Yeah, so definitely sugar products are not good for the liver because your liver has to filter that. So if you're eating cans of soda, there's so many grams of sugar in a can of soda. It's almost a half a bag of a little Ziploc bag. And if you're drinking a couple of those a day, you're infusing too much sugar into your body. That will blow your liver and it'll blow out a lot of other meridians. So sugar is definitely one of the top ones to avoid.
What about honey?
Well, okay, so now you're getting into different parts of the sugars. So we have natural sweeteners, then we have artificial sweeteners, and then we have like what grows in nature. So honey, raw honey, has certain benefits that will override some of the processed white sugar. Okay, the brown sugar and the white sugar, it doesn't matter. It's still all sugar, and it has a harmful effect on the body when it's overtaken with that. Honey, everything should be used in moderation with sugar. Now, if we went back to ancient times, and our ancestors actually in a full year ate the amount of sugar we eat in one day.
Wow.
So it's a lot. it's 400 pounds of sugar a year. Something of that nature was the statistics on that. So with that said, sugar is one of the baddest and worst things you can do to injure a lot of things in your body. You could tag it and put it like diabetes just is overtaking the sugar.
No.
And you can name sugar for this and sugar for that. So sugar is pretty much bad to do. Water, you got to drink pure water. You can't drink water that's out of plastic bottles. The plastic leaches toxins into the water. And if it's not filtered, do not drink tap water. It's not healthy to do. It's got a lot of chemicals. They use like lots of harsh chemicals just to keep the bacteria out of the water and everything else in there. So drink pure filtered water. If you got a reverse osmosis ability to put one into your house, they're not expensive, a little over $200. You can get a really good one. And with that, you want to drink good, clean water. So you want things to go into your body. Now, the liver thrives on, and gallbladder thrive on good foods. And then, so just think about processed foods. So things like turkey bacon, processed foods, deli meats, those kinds of things are loaded with other problems that the liver and gallbladder will have a hard time detoxing. You want to eat really clean, organic, and you want to eat lean, if any meats at all. I don't eat meat, but if you have and want to, make sure it's good lean meat, and eating it in moderation, not eating a lot of red meat because it turns into other issues, as we know. So with that said, that's another way that you can look at that. Dark green leafy vegetables are really important. Now, you brought that up, and a good point is, what is the weed? We call it a weed. What is the weed that grows randomly all over the place at this time of the year? It has a little yellow flower that comes out of it.
It's got to be a dandelion.
That is correct. So dandelions literally grow in the springtime. Believe it or not, they are the best foods to eat with your meals. Now, who's going to go out and pick dandelions? You're out of your mind. And you don't know if a dog did something on them or whatever have you. But if you go to Whole Foods this time of the year, they will carry dandelion leaves for sale because they know eating dandelions. If you go and buy any herbal product out there for liver cleansing, you're going to see milk thistle and you're going to see dandelion root in there because the dandelion really cleans it. But if you don't want to go that much with it, just dark green leafy vegetables are your best bet, even cooked or raw for that. And that will help with that. Lemon water is really, really good to drink. So in the morning, when you wake up, you squeeze a little half the lemon into some warm water, drink that down. It's amazing of what that will do to help clean and clear your liver out. The liver loves lemons. And the only last thing I will talk about there is beets. Not everybody likes them, but beets are the healthiest thing for this season for the gallbladder. And beets are loaded with nitric oxide. So nitric oxide.
The powdered beets, the powdered beets.
Yeah, well, it's not the same as the raw beets, but the powdered beets are still healthy to take, and it's still going to give you tons of ability for your body to produce what's called nitric oxide. Nitric oxide lines the blood vessel walls throughout your entire body. And when those blood vessel walls get damaged from smoking or inhaling toxins or whatever happens, the body will lay plaque down, just like if you have a hole in your wall, you're going to lay some putty down to protect it. Your body lays plaque down in the damaged areas of the arterial walls. And over time, you get a cardiovascular plaque buildup. And nitric oxide helps repair it from the inside. It helps repair it and gives you super energy. It opens up your blood vessels, increases oxygenation to your brain. It's just one thing after the next. Nitric oxide is really, really healthy and good to take and to do. And that's found in beets, strawberries, and other things, blueberries. So, think about the seasonal foods. There is a book wrote, Staying Healthy Through the Seasons by Elson Haas, a medical doctor. He's really good.
That was you made that required reading for us.
I made it required reading. And now it's literally, he has a lot of books out called Recipes for the Season. So you can actually you can Google, just Google on your laptop what foods to eat in the wood element season. And it will tell you and what foods to avoid. It'll give you the whole list in there on both sides. But the main thing is sugar. Be careful with that. Okay,
Fantastic.
sugar is going to be your biggest thing. Toxins, chocolate, processed foods, candy, all the junk food, all of that. It just works against you, like McDonald's, by the way. Not trying to throw anything against one topic place, but fast food chains, 365 days, 24 hours a day, they're open. They have no regard for eating with the seasons. They're just pushing all this garbage food into your body. And that's the thing. So if you avoid those and eat more of the foods that fit within the season, your body will naturally create a frequency that lifts your soul up from an electrical nature. So every time you do that, the other thing we didn't speak about quick was grounding.
I was
I
just
really,
going to ask you that.
yeah,
Go
the
on.
grounding is simple and easy to do. There's many ways to do it. You need to get barefoot. And if you have, and it's nice outside, just sit with your feet on the dirt, the grass for 10 minutes. That's it. You'll get the electrical charges. There is so many things to talk about grounding. I can give you a whole 1 hour talk just about grounding. So it's really important to get that energy in. Just think about this. The earth works in a natural called the Schumann wave. That Schumann wave has a 7.28 frequency. And that natural frequency charges every cell in your body to its maximum electrical energy field. Now, put rubber soles on your feet like sneakers. Walk around with that all day long and all night, never touching the ground with your feet. Your body doesn't get the charge, so it loses the electrical charge in the cell. Now, amplify that by 5G, 3G, 5G, whatever network that you're living in, this whole entire electrical field. Any electrical EMFs coming from microwaves and everything else is all working against the electrical cells of your body, and you start to decline. When your cells in your body decline, the cells will mutate to stay in harmony. And some of that mutation turns to cancer.
Mm.
So the thing is, keep yourself in a very good electrical field. And so that's the thoughts. That's also going to be by food, but now also by grounding. Now, for those of you who can't really step barefoot, and so working out barefoot in your studio is not grounding, okay? It's literally being on the earth. You can stand on cement on the earth. There is more grounding that way, but bare dirt, grass, feet will get the best in there for 10 minutes a day. You will upregulate your entire body. You can also purchase grounding mats. They're small little mats that you can place under your feet if you're at work, or if you're in a building, or if you're on a computer sitting for long periods of time. Take your shoes and socks off, put your feet right on that mat, and that mat plugs into the little socket at the bottom, the grounding socket of your electrical socket on your wall. And so you're getting full grounding, and it's been proven it works. Those ground will come right through. It'll come into your body, and that's a way to save your energy during the day.
Yeah.
We
Now,
also sleep.
the
Yep,
ground,
go ahead.
though, just so everybody understands, the two prongs is with the electricity comes in through.
Yeah.
The bottom one is just a wire that goes into the earth. So those
Right.
grounding mats, the two electrical parts actually don't function. They're just like plastic or whatever. And then
Yeah.
it's just that one bottom wire.
That's the only one you plug into.
Mat.
And
Yeah.
the plug itself is round, so it won't fit into
Right.
the other two, but that's the only one it goes into. And the instructions are very clear on that. And that's really cool. And so they also make grounding sheets for your bed that also plug into the wall from the sheets. I don't recommend you getting those because they're silver infused. And after a while of washing them, it all goes away and you wasted your money on sheets that you could have just bought. But they do sell a grounding thin, very thin, leather-like, maybe 2 feet wide, and it goes along the width of your bed where your feet would be. And it doesn't go underneath any top sheets. You lay your legs right on top of that, but that gets plugged in too. We sleep on that every night with all the other stuff that we do. And I can tell you, we have machines in the house that can measure the electrical field in your body. So we know from the work we do, my wife's a medical physician, also involved in this work, and I've been doing this for 40 years, that the electricity of your body determines your health. And that really gets to the bottom of it. So what food you bring in, what thoughts you think, and how you ground yourself to rebuild back the energy field. And there's some other things that we can use and do that helps you stay in the best health you can be under the circumstances you're in. Now, we didn't have to have this talk before rubber soles were invented. We didn't have to have this talk back when people were eating properly and before the world wars had been here. As soon as the wars had come, they had to keep shelf life of products longer on there to feed the whole people that came back from all the wars, and all those preservatives and dyes and food coloring. So those are the things to avoid. Read your labels. If you can't understand what's on your label, don't eat it. And if it sounds like it came from another planet, don't eat it. So they should be simple things that grow within laws of nature. By example, real quick, organic, fresh vegetables are your number one choice. Number two would be frozen organic. Okay, but it wouldn't be first, but it could be there. Then there's canned vegetables. When do you eat canned vegetables?
Thanksgiving.
Well, no, I'm going to change that. Hopefully, I taught you differently. But your canned vegetables should only be eaten. You don't eat them only if you're in a bunker,
Right.
and your life, and so they have the shelf life for a long time. There's no live enzymes in a can. I tell you, and it's a joke, but you're better off eating a can. There's literally more nutrients in the can than there would be in the vegetables. The dead vegetables that you think you're eating are good in that can. So avoid the can.
The canning process actually kills it.
Yeah, there's no oxygen for the cells. They're not fresh anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. So life transfers life. And when you eat dead food, that's your outcome. If you eat live food, that's your outcome. So fresh fruits and vegetables that are clean, no toxic waste. And people eat a lot of oats. And be honestly, oats are not good for you. They're fattening like anything. And at the same time, they got glycophytes in them. You can't get the pesticides out of those. Now, the last thing we'll speak about, if you have any other questions, would be strawberries. How many people love strawberries? And, you know, when you came and visited me, we went and got some nice strawberries at the farm. And yeah, they were incredible. So with that said, strawberries are one of those things that you have to eat organic. The strawberry itself, if you look at the strawberry, they have these little indentations in them where the seeds sit all around that. The strawberry takes whatever from the outside and brings it into the core of itself. So when it's sprayed with pesticides, it's not something you can wash off. It's no longer on the surface like an apple would be a surface. You can wash it because it doesn't penetrate through the tough skin. But there isn't any tough skin on a strawberry, and it absorbs all of the pesticides inside of it. So it really hurts me because I have a couple where I live here in Raleigh, North Carolina. I have a couple of strawberry farms that I pass regularly. And when I used to go to work in the morning, you know, that was one thing. But coming home late at night by 10 o'clock after teaching and all of that stuff, I would see something nobody else saw. So in between the morning of me going to work and me coming back were all these families thinking it was a great thing to do to take your child to go strawberry picking because it is a fun thing to do. And I tell you, I did it myself. However, at night around 11 o'clock, giant pesticide machines were going up and down those rows, spraying like crazy. And so that, you know, these big open fields of strawberry aren't eaten by the local deer and other things. Why? They don't even want them. So we don't know any better. And these poor families in between that are out there picking strawberries and they're eating them because they think it's a nice outdoor event to do with their child. And it's a healthy thing to do. And they're not a healthy thing to do. And it is a nice thing to do, but it's not healthy to eat those things. So if you can find an organic strawberry field, go for it. Otherwise, just buy organic strawberries. Costco has them, and make sure you wash them anyway. But 9 out of 10, you're going to be able to certified organic. You're not going to get the pesticide load that you're going to get in a regular strawberry.
We grow our own sometimes too. So it's
well, that's good. So yeah, grow your own. Yeah. Yeah, and that's the thing to do. I mean, I've lit my own lemon trees, and I grow as much as I can. But you know, not everybody's able to do it, especially if you live in a city and you do all of that stuff. So remember, we said organic, then frozen, and not the canned food. Try to avoid that. Now, if you did it maybe once a year, you know, at Thanksgiving, you opened up a can of corn and you used all of that. Not going to be the end of the world because you're not relying on that one meal to supply your energy field for the rest of the year. So not a big deal if you use it every now and then, but honestly, if you're looking at the nutritional content, not there for you. So don't rely on that. Now, the problem is we go for the cheapest food and what's on sale, and we don't always look at the healthy side of it. And that's natural. I understand that people do that. But what I tell people is this: if you have a child, let's say my kid wants a car. He's never had one before, and he's 17, 18 now. He's getting his first car. And I say to him, if I give you a car and it's working fine, would you take care of that car for the rest of your life? Because that's the only car you're going to get. If you only get one car in your life, would you take care of it for the rest of your life? Oh, yeah, I would do everything to take care of it for the rest of my life. Well, what about your body? You're only getting one of them. If you don't take care of your body for the rest of your life, the cost that you think you're saving now will cost you in hospital bills later. So if you don't invest in your health now, you'll invest in hospital payments later by a long shot. So keeping yourself as healthy as possible is the goal. And there are simple, free things to do just by managing yourself and looking at things and making a decision and a choice. The choice is always yours to make, healthy or not healthy. And, and that's the end of the day. So I hope that was good information.
We got to do this again. And, I'm going to have all the graphics lined up so we can do it. But fantastic stuff. I mean, I know it. You've been teaching it to me for years, but I wanted people to see you, talking about it and spread that out. So with that, thank you so much. And I noticed
Yeah, really
the little yappy chihuahua was quiet now, so I don't know what happened.
Yeah, the dog. It's quiet. The only last thing I do want to say is that, there's a quote out there that says, "You are what you eat." And that is somewhat true, but I coined a different phrase years ago, which is, it's not what you eat, it's what you absorb. So you can eat a lot of things, but if your body doesn't absorb it for nutrients in your system, and you don't have the ability properly in your digestive tract and all of these things to make those nutrients come to life in your body, then it's just like eating bad foods. So you can be eating good foods, but you want to absorb it. So make sure you get good biomes in your gut. You got to take your probiotics, the bacteria in your gut. So the good thing about that is eat a lot of kimchi, eat a lot of sauerkraut, not everybody likes all these things, but fermented foods in general will help that. Take your probiotics. Probiotics have been shown to really increase the metabolism and help absorption of all your nutrients in your system. And so that's just another little angle we didn't speak about.
Yeah, well, we're gonna do a lot more of these, and especially as each season transitions, it's a perfect opportunity. Thank you so much. We've been doing this for close to an hour, so I think we killed it. And I will talk to you later.
All right. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. All right, guys. Fantastic talk. Sorry about the technical glitches. He had a slideshow, and it was a little technical glitch because it's a new software we're using. So I kind of jumped in there and pulled some graphics up on the fly. So next time we do a presentation, I'm going to have these graphics up in the queue just in case, so we can have a backup with that. So with that, I hope everybody enjoyed that talk. I know I did. I've been learning this stuff from him for years. And everyone have a wonderful, safe weekend. And don't forget, eat your greens, get your dandelions, and review this because there's so much information that was shared in this that you can watch it multiple times. And like Master Bannard said, it's the book "Staying Healthy with the Seasons." That was required reading. So get your hands on that. It's a fantastic book, and it touches on a lot of what he shared with us today. So with that, everybody, and don't forget to like and subscribe because there's more of this stuff to come. I have more guests lined up. Master Bannard's coming back for sure because we're going to tighten up this these presentations, and I'm so happy. And he's my first guest, and I had to have my instructor on as my first guest. That was a total, absolute must-have. So I hope you enjoyed it, and you can reach out to him. I'm going to put his information too, because he does some, fantastic seminars about these things, especially with the tapping. So I'm going to bring him back, and we're going to go over, maybe some of the Mupal Gum exercises that we can do seasonally, and incorporate all of that. I'm going to see if we can kind of condense this and make some courses for the resource as well. So with that, everybody have a wonderful weekend, and don't forget, tell your friends, like and subscribe, and have a fantastic weekend at Tang Soo.